Appreciate y'all being here. Exciting week one. Came away with the win right there. Film, got to watch that and showed a lot of great things, to build on for the rest of the year. Was able to show us a few things that we need to get better at. But great learns all around. Really proud of the kids, how they competed, how they worked every day last week in practice, and excited to build on it for this week. So with that, I got questions from anybody?
Dion Burks, and
Yeah.
obviously we saw what he could do on the field the other day. But what has stood out to you about the way that he's handled things, preparation wise, and getting ready for this season, and coming back from what he went through last year?
Yeah, done a great job of being mindful of his body. And there's a saying that nobody knows your body better than you. And so he's done a great job of just being mindful of his body and knowing what he can do on certain days, especially whenever we were trying to get him back to 100%, way back when. But done a great job with the training staff and the sports science staff from that regard to find a way to be consistently ready every single day for the moments in practice that we need him. And he's done an awesome job taking in everything that Coach Jones tells him, that I tell him, that John tells him, and going and applying it from practice to the game field. So just proud of his mindset and kind of the process that he's had just going through each day. Yeah.
Barry? Yeah, Ben, you told us a story about your first date was Oklahoma Notre Dame game here.
Mm-hmm.
So your second game, all of a sudden, is Oklahoma-Michigan, historic game, first time.
Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to this, just the pageantry and the history and all that stuff of this game?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. Both programs just rich in tradition. For the outside fan and the outside viewer, like, this is what college football is all about. But kind of like I said the other day after the game, with John and his process, I'm not going to change my process at all. I'm not going to change how I prepare for this game. I'm going to be true to myself, true to what I believe, and go out there and put our best foot forward against an awesome opponent who, on film, they're physical and they play hard and they're well coached. But just put our best foot forward in that regard and stick true to our process and have the boys ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, I've been wanting to ask you about Jake Michael. Just what have you learned about him since he got here in the summer, and how do you feel like he's fit into that O-line group?
Jake's a quick learner, and he's easy to get along with. Which I've found in my life most offensive linemen are. They're usually pretty easygoing and able to mesh well with anybody. But Jake's a quick learner. He's a hard worker. Until you really get to know him, he doesn't say a lot. He sits back and he processes things really well, reads the room, and just always kind of analyzing things, which makes sense. He plays center too, so that all makes sense. But great kid who really talented football player, and he hadn't been here that long, so just whenever I say quick learner, the stuff that he's been able to learn in such a short period of time. Hats off to him.
Then talking to some offensive linemen last night, specifically about how you guys can improve in the run blocking game. Just what did you see from that after reviewing the tape?
After reviewing the tape on the run blocking, again, it's I don't think it's all just offensive line. It's not all tight ends. It's not all running backs. Whenever you talk about running the ball, it's really all 11 players on the field being on the page at the same time. Everything goes into wide receivers push cracking, quarterback making sure that we're running the run into the best look possible, running backs hitting the hole whenever it's there, hitting the crease when it's there. So, it's not just one specific position group in the run game. And because there's a lot of things that they did do well, the offensive line on Saturday. But, again, it's just constantly meshing everyone together in that regard. So, but definitely just, have a great mindset towards it this week whenever we get put in those situations, just a mindset of coming off the ball, getting our double teams together, getting off to the second level, running backs pressing their landmarks, sticking it, knifing, getting vertical downfield, wide receivers being great in their perimeter blocking rules in the runs. And, that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, Ben, I noticed on Saturday Kevin Wilson was kind of attached to the hip. Mm-hmm. What's his role on game day, and what's that communication like, learning from somebody like Kevin Wilson who's been doing this for a long time?
Yeah, Kevin's a great guy. Kevin's a great guy that I love having in the building, and he's been a ball coach for a long time, and he's been a really good ball coach for a long time, and has such a great personality about him, and has such a great way of just throwing a nugget of advice here and there. And a lot of times on the sideline the other day, it would just be we're standing there and he'd give me like a fist bump, be like, "That's a good call." Like, "Hey, appreciate it, man." Like, but any time, the thing about Coach Wilson, any time that I have been like, "Hey, I need some veteran ball coach advice from you on something," he's always been there to lend it, and it's no different on game day. Sometimes I just walk by and be like, "You got anything?" And sometimes he says no. Sometimes he cracks a joke. Sometimes he asks something. So I don't know. He's a great guy. He's fun to be around, and I don't know. He's cool.
Did you know him at all before, or have any previous?
Never met him a day in my life until he showed up in Norman. So
Thanks, Ben.
yeah.
Left side, Jesse. Ben, we asked you after the game about Jaren quite a bit, but we also saw Will Carson in the tight end room. Just what stood out about that group, that tight end group as a whole, and maybe what did you like about the way they complement each other, their different skill sets in that room?
Definitely have different skill sets. One thing that I was really excited with them is how they showed up in the pass game. I thought they did some really good things just out in space and making the play whenever it came their way. Still with all of them would like a little bit cleaner in the core whenever you talk about run blocking, but they were great in their pass protection assignments and everything. Again, like I've said, that's a great group of kids, and they don't rarely make the same mistake twice. They're pretty in tune to their coaching and what they need to do on given plays. But that whole room, I think they're just going to continue to get better, and that's the exciting thing. So, fired up about them.
Yeah, Ben, we saw Elijah Thomas on special teams, but didn't see him at receiver. Was the plan just get Dion, Isaiah, Keontae as much reps as possible, or is that just kind of the way that it happened Saturday?
I think kind of just the way that it happened the other day. I think we put out I could be wrong, I think we put out a two deep, and at the time I think we had Elijah at the 3, and so and that 3 spot right there. So making sure that the guys that we had in the 2 deep who had really earned it and stepped into those roles and built in great trust and everything, we're getting the reps that they need for a long season, because again, a lot of them are still really new, so they need to play a lot of football too. But it wasn't anything that Elijah did or didn't do. He got his special team reps in, and he's always at the go and ready for whenever we can get him out there on the field. So yeah.
I know Brent said last night that J&I was going to play a lot more in the future, but how much do you think he'll play against Michigan?
Jay Knott's in a great headspace. I actually got to meet with him this morning too, and Jay Knott's in a great headspace. And I'm excited for this week and watching him practice and get him out there against Michigan.
Go back to the right side and the far right, second row, Ryan Chapman. As you started to look toward Michigan, let's say it's about that front 7 and the challenges that they're going to pose for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, they're physical, they're stout, they're well coached, they understand their gap integrity, and they do a really good job at the point of attack, whether it's in shedding run blocks or rushing the passer. They do a really good job, so they're sound. So we have to bring our best. They're really good players, so we have to bring our best in those moments, in those situations too. You look at it, I think their linebacker position group, I think, is really good. I think they're really veteran players out there. They show up on film, they strike you, they're able to cover in space. So they've been really impressive, and they were really impressive whenever you watched them from last year's tape too. On the inside, they have the ability to throw a whole bunch of different guys out there. Last year it was mainly those 2 defensive tackles who ended up getting drafted were in there, 500 snaps last year, where this year they're able to cycle in more guys, keep their guys fresh. So I think that's a really good thing for them. But they're stout and they're well coached, and they're going to bring their best. So we got to bring ours.
Ben, we saw Fabechi move from right guard to left guard for about half the game. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time he's played on the left side since his freshman year at North Texas. What did you like about what you saw from him when he made that move to the other side?
Effortless, seamless. Fabechi had a great game the other day. He does everything right, and it wasn't the first time that we'd seen him on the left side. We didn't just randomly do that in game. We were able to see it, quite a bit in practice too, just working with different models of the offensive line. And so it was no surprise that he went out there and switched from right to left and did a really good job.
Left side, Davis.
Yeah, Ben, have you learned anything new about John since you guys have gotten here?
Learned anything new about John? No, I don't think I've learned anything new about him. I've been, kind of been around him for a long time. Again, I've just been impressed from, someone who is around him every day and then has seen his journey go from point A to really point B. Just the confidence that he has in himself, but it's not arrogance. And the leadership that he shows in the building. Those are some of the things that have just really impressed me as someone who's around him every day. But I don't think I've just learned a whole lot new about Johnny Boy in the last 8 or 9 months.